Hi everyone, this is Sandy. Welcome back to Easy Cooking. So today I'll be showing you how to make some really easy and delicious ribs Mexican style. They are so good, I hope you can give them a try. The preparation time for this recipe is going to be about 10 minutes. Then we have to marinate the meat for at least 3 hours. If you have more time, I recommend that you prepare this dish overnight, but 3 hours is good enough. Then the cooking time is going to be about 2.5 to 3 hours. I really hope you like them. Remember, you'll find the list of ingredients in the description box of this video, and you will also find it in my blog where you can print the whole recipe. Let's get started. So here I have the meat. Like I said, I'm using 5 pounds of beef back ribs, and I'm also using 3 pounds of country style ribs. So I have all the beef cut in chunks. You can cut them into smaller bite-sized pieces if you want to. So into the blender, we're going to add in the onion. I cut the onion in chunks, and then into the blender, we will also add about 12 garlic cloves. Then we will season this with 3 cubes of beef bouillon, and we will also add half a tablespoon of dry oregano, half a tablespoon of cumin, and half a tablespoon of whole black pepper. We will also add in 3 bay leaves. Then add in the vinegar and also add in half of the beer. Reserve the rest of the beer because we're going to use it later. Season this with plenty of salt. You have to use plenty of salt because we're using a lot of meat. And then we're going to blend this on high until everything is well blended. Once the sauce is done, now we're going to pour this sauce over the meat. Give it a stir just to make sure the meat is well covered with the sauce. And then we're going to marinate this in the refrigerator for at least 3 hours. If you have more time, you can marinate it overnight if you want to. It will be much better. So next day or whenever you're ready to cook the meat, now we're going to remove the stems from the dry chilies, and we will also remove the veins and the seeds from the inside of the dry chilies. We will do this with both the Guajillo dry chilies and the Ancho dry chilies. And I'm using some scissors to cut the stems from all the chilies and also to remove the seeds and the veins from the inside of each chili. Now we're going to place the dry chilies in hot water for about 15 minutes so they will soften a little bit. And then after 15 minutes, now we're going to place the chilies in the blender. And into the blender, we will also add in the tomatoes cut in quarters. And we will also add in 3 garlic cloves. We will also add half a tablespoon of dry oregano, half a tablespoon of whole cumin, half a tablespoon of whole black pepper, and 2 cubes of beef bouillon seasoning. Then we're going to add in the rest of the beer. Now season this with salt to taste, and we're going to blend this on high until everything is well blended into a smooth sauce. Over here I have the meat. I marinated it all morning for about 6 hours. Now I'm ready to cook it. I have a large aluminum pan on high heat, and I'm going to add a splash of oil. I'm using vegetable oil, but if you want, feel free to use some pork lard. That will give it more flavor. Once the oil is nice and hot, now we're going to add in the beef, and we're going to brown the meat on all sides. And as you can see, I'm only adding the chunks of meat to the pan so they can get nice and brown. You can discard whatever liquid is left from marinating the meat. I'm using 3 different pans to brown the meat all at once, and you just want to brown it on all sides. It will take about 3-4 minutes on each side. While the meat is browning, now we're going to strain the sauce. This is just to get rid of some of the chili skin that might be left in the sauce. So we're going to strain the sauce. You can add more water if you think it's too thick. And then after you strain it, just set it aside for a little bit. Over here I have the meat. Like I said, I'm using 3 different pans to brown the meat all at once. Now we're going to place all the meat in the larger pan. As you can see, the meat is nice and brown on all sides. Now we're going to pour the red sauce over the beef. I'm going to be adding 2 more cups of liquid of water. If you want, you can add more beer if you want to. Just so the sauce will cover most of the meat. Then give it a stir. And then we're going to cover this with aluminum foil, and we're going to cook on medium-high heat for about 2.5 hours. After 2.5 hours, this is how it looks. it smells delicious. The meat should be really flavorful and tender by now, but if you think your meat is not as tender as you want it, you can give it another 30 minutes if you want to. And then that's about it. You're ready to serve it. And I'm just going to be serving it with chopped cilantro and chopped onion with some really warm tortillas and a hot sauce. And that's about it. You're ready to make some delicious tacos. Or you can also just serve this with some rice or macaroni salad, and that's about it. This one is so delicious, I really recommend it. Enjoy.